The temperatures have dropped and it's been frosty for Watford. A lot to get into today with Sam Yuko, Charlie Zara, myself, Jacob Colshaw here in WD18. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday evening. It's not a Tuesday night kickoff, but it is a Tuesday night kickoff here in WD18. A lot to get stuck into. Lads, I think this is our first episode of 2026.
Together. We done one with Adam the other day. Substitution.
Are we saying this is the... No, Adam was phenomenal. That was the first stream of 2026. And what a way to do it. Adam Jury, Watford FC correspondent for the Watford Observer, was absolutely brilliant with the lads, giving the insight on the last couple of games. We're back again to talk all things Watford. Sam, you've been through the ringer, mate, haven't you? It's been a hellish few days for you, or maybe just day in general. Talk to me. How are you? How are you feeling? What's been happening?
Yeah, to make matters worse, I'm actually feeling a little bit under the weather as well. That time of the year, I think, as well, start of January, and I think my body's just not fancying it at the moment, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's been a bit of a rough few days on a Watford front as well. Bit nuts that I feel like our momentum has been halted, and for once, it's actually not Watford's fault. For a couple of reasons, which we'll talk about. But other than that, I am good. Happy New Year, everyone, again. Brilliant. Loved talking to Adam the other day. Make sure to have a look at that video and a bit of what you can expect for the January transfer window too. Because, as always, I think we could be in for a busy few weeks in terms of Watford rumours.
And that is one of the hottest topics today. We'll be talking about the January transfer window. We'll be talking about Hull. I mean, so much to unpack there. Max Alleyne, Charlie still in mourning about his recall to Manchester City, and then other business. Will Edu Kiembe be on his way back to London Colney and Vicarage Road? Who starts versus Bristol City in the FA Cup? Is the FA Cup a priority for us this season? Charlie, talk to me.
I'm all good. Yeah, busy couple of days. 2 questions for you, Jacob. First, what did you do New Year's Eve? And second, who's going to be the next permanent Man United manager?
Oh, I mean, we've got to throw Regis Lebris into the mix, don't we, Sam, for United?
Yeah, Reggie Lebris or Carlos Carvajal. Carlos Corberan, not Carlos Carvajal. Wow, that's the wrong one.
I'm going to go with, well, obviously it looks like it's going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to the end of the season. And I reckon in the summer, if I was to guess, I could see Julian Nagelsmann.
Ooh.
I prefer that German to be going there instead of Thomas Tuchel.
Thomas Tuchel. I could see that after the Germany job, maybe, just maybe, or maybe after the England job for Thomas Tuchel. And in terms of New Year's Eve, I always see it in with a little bit of Jules Holland, a bit of the hootenanny. He's aged like a fine wine, hasn't he, Jules? So Olivia Dean was on. She was definitely the star of the show. What else did I do?
Craig David.
Oh, yes. Wow, Craig David hasn't lost it, has he?
Yeah, he hasn't aged either. He does well for himself.
I'm trying to think of like the Watford player. He'd be the Marco Cassetti of singers, where year on year he just gets smoother. Craig David for me. Sam, do you know who Craig David is?
I do know who Craig. I know I said I don't listen to music, but I know who Craig David is. Jakey, honestly,
name one of his songs.
I couldn't do that. No, don't put me on the spot there.
Surely you've heard of 7 Days.
How does it go? I'm always good with songs like when I hear how they go rather than like the names of songs.
Monday, took her for a drink on Tuesday. We make love on Wednesday.
No.
Sam was on Hull on Sunday.
And I was going to say, it took you about 7 days to get there and back, didn't it, for a game that didn't even happen? Sam, look, we're going to get straight into it. Your experience, how the day planned out, or didn't happen. I mean, so much to unpack here. And probably the headline, if you didn't know, I mean, everyone on this knows what's happened. Watford's game at Hull City at the MKM Stadium was postponed 17 minutes before kickoff for a bit of ice in the technical area. So, Sam, talk to me.
Well, I mean, I feel like this is a collective therapy session. We've said this many times on the channel before, but I feel like myself, as well as everyone who was in that away end before the game on Sunday, still not too happy with what happened. A long journey to get there. I'll go right back to the very start. Left Watford at about, I want to say 9, 9:15 in the morning with a lovely coffee from Junction Cafe in hand, get their lattes. Fantastic. If you want something a bit stronger, go to the Mad Squirrel, which is a few minutes down the road. But I went with the coffee.
Just to clarify, did you get the train right?
No, I got a lift up.
Okay.
My good friend Pierre drove, so thank you to him for driving. And it was, I want to say we got there, it took about 3.5 hours to get there. 4 hours including stop.
Good
One
service.
of my, I can't remember which services it was actually. I might have been asleep in the car and didn't get out secretly.
Fleet
But, I feel like I come across actually as a really boring bloke on this podcast. That I just sleep in the car. I don't listen to music. I have green tea on a night out. God, people don't really know what people make of me. But anyway, got to Hull. And one of my good friends that I went traveling with in the summer, who I met when they were traveling, actually lives about 20 minutes away from Hull. So I thought, I haven't seen them since I went traveling, just to come along to Hull, and they came to the game with me. Lovely catch up, and thought, all right, 4 wins in a row, let's go. And getting into the ground, firstly, Hull's food was 5 wins in a row.
Would have been 5 wins.
Would have been 5 wins in a row. We'd won 4, but and got into the ground. First of all, Hull's food, I think it's notorious for their footy scram. Absolutely brilliant. Waffle fries, fantastic. So if I credit them on anything, chicken and chips, fantastic. Well done, Hull City. Get into the ground, and for some reason, the warm-ups were a little bit, I don't want to say like half-assed, but like you could tell something else was going on in the background, and there was like a circle of people in tracksuits just that next to the center circle who were in deep conversation. And next minute, about, I want to say 25 minutes before kickoff, the Watford players come over and they're clapping the fans, but they, in credit to them, they've done this every single game this season. So that was almost nothing untoward, other than the fact that it was about 10 minutes earlier than normal. You're thinking, what's going on here? Everyone's clapping the players, they're closer, and they come right up to the barrier. I'm not sure if we've got Culture Force's picture that we can share quickly now, but they come up to the advertising hoardings with Javi, and they're basically just saying, game's off. Like some of them were going like this, it's off. Some of them were just like, the can't go on the pitch, whatever. They go inside, and then I called Charlie, because the thing is, we weren't able to, they weren't posting anything, neither Hull or Watford. Nothing was coming off the tannoy either. So everyone was in a bit of limbo about, is the game off, is the game on? And then eventually, about 10 minutes later, it came through that the game was off. So
there was no announcement on the tannoy, Sam?
There was no announcement on the tannoy for about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes between the Watford players coming over and the game officially being called off. If you want my honest opinion on it, I think everyone's got their opinions on it. We're not going to get into all the conspiracy theories, and because it's not our place to, I don't think, and I'm sure there'll be a thorough investigation going on about it. I can understand why.
The emphasis on thorough killed me. Sorry.
Have you heard thorough said with so much aggression?
Thorough. Sorry, Sam. Sorry.
In my opinion, I don't think any Watford fan has said this. I can see why the pitch wasn't playable. I can see the actual pitch was fine, but there would have been nowhere for the subs to warm up. The linesman couldn't go down that side, and the technical areas probably wouldn't have been safe. The big issue is why it took until 20 minutes before kickoff for that decision to have been made. And that is absolutely, like, I'm staggered by how that decision was made 20 minutes before. I think
what should have been the cutoff time-wise? 12:45?
I think you're probably looking at between 11 and 12, maybe. Latest.
So that's when you're at the services, so you can turn around at that point.
So you can turn around. I think if we were travelling by an hour, like, fine. I think even like Burnley a few years ago, when it was called off for COVID, we were given 3 hours notice. So a lot of Watford fans would have either just been arriving to Turf Moor or turning around. But to be there while the players were warming up That's what I don't. The pitch was deemed safe enough for the players to warm up on, and like I say, I can get why the game was off. I don't know. We've everyone's got their own opinion on what happened, but whoever made those decisions, I think it's a big investigation or thorough investigation.
Sam, have you had any communications about any ticket refund or anything like that?
So I think on the website, we haven't had any official communication back yet. I think it's going to be a case of the match ticket will still be valid for the rearranged game as and when that happens. And if you can't go to that, then there will be refunds possible. But at the same time, like, I've wasted money on petrol, on food, it's never a waste getting coffee from Junction Cafe before, because the coffee is unbelievable, but I could have had that coffee at home at the same time in the nice warmth. And I've wasted an entire day of my life going to Hull and back for a bit of chicken and chips ultimately. So
what time did you get back in the end?
I got back for the last half an hour of City Chelsea, so it would have been about 6:45.
Sorry, I shouldn't. It was just the way you delivered that.
Nice.
I shouldn't laugh, because that is a genuinely if the hard-earned money from supporters needs to be refunded without a shadow of a doubt. And someone made a very good point. There is actually a chance we could end up going back twice if Hull and Watford get in the playoffs. There is a chance that we could be making that trip 3 times this season. But we'll stick with the second, which obviously needs to be rescheduled. Charlie, I wanted to bring you in here on the statements. Now, Watford have criticised the decision to call off their match at Hull. It was 18 minutes, apparently, before kickoff on Sunday, and have claimed they did not agree to the postponement. Anthony Backhouse, the referee, called the game off due to safety concerns of the areas that Sam mentioned surrounding the pitch. That game was one of 3 championship fixtures to fall by the wayside due to frozen pitches, while 14 games across League One and League Two were also postponed. But Charlie, on this, Hull said in a statement that the postponement was agreed by all parties, but Watford insisted in a statement that evening they had been prepared to play the game and that the decision was made without their consent. They said, "We reiterate, we were ready and willing to play after the pitch was past fit by the referee. We remain disappointed by the decision to postpone and by how the decision was reached. We did not agree to the postponement." What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, pretty punchy statement from Watford. I haven't looked too much into it because it's not something that massively interests me, but I don't know if there's been reports after that saying that Watford or the manager did agree to it, or whether it's the ref's decision. I'm not too interested in all of that. I think it's an absolute shambles just for the fans, and I feel sorry for the Watford fans because, again, like Sam's mentioned, they did it to Burnley. We did it Burnley. Feels like a couple of seasons ago when that
I was actually talking as well, Charlie, to a Watford fan who last season, on the way out, came from abroad for Cardiff away last season or 2 years ago, and the day before that got called off as well for the weather. Although that was a whole day's notice, but even still, 3 times.
Rob makes a great point here, and more to the point, did anyone see the state of the Norwich pitch? They had people shoveling snow off at about 1:45 or 12:45, much worse, but went ahead. Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah, so a shamble for the fans. There's got to be like policies set in place for anything like this that happens, and do you know what I mean? Better communication and refunds that should happen instantly as a bare minimum. In terms of the actual game, I won't go into conspiracies, but their owner is a bit of a nutter, isn't he? So I don't know. No, I don't know. Like you don't think that whole, and they've. I didn't realise their injury crisis that they had with Ryan Giles out and who's the lad up front, Gelhardt, who's been on fire. But I don't think we really get more into that. I think one thing that's born from this is now probably an extra bit of spice in the return fixture. Like I said, Jacob, if we do, long way to go, but if the playoffs does happen, then it could be really spicy. But I'm all for extra little bits of rivalry. You know, when we had like the random rivalry of like Palace and Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So I'm up for that. That should be spicy, but that'll probably be a Tuesday game, which will be a lot harder to get a lot of Watford fans up than the Sunday. And then like just reflections on the kind of actual game. Like my initial instinct as a Watford fan when something like this happens is, or at least we didn't lose. However, like thinking about it, I think we were bang up for it. And I think, do you know what I mean? We would have really taken the game to them and we would have given them a good game and the players would have been gutted that we'd have lost a bit of momentum. So I think the last couple of days from that Sunday and then Monday, we're going to get on to Max Alleyne, but feels like 2 bad days for Watford because we have no idea what the returning fixture is, whether we're going to fall off a cliff or they're going to get all their players back, etc. But it felt like a game that we were bang up for. We had, do you know what I mean, a strong side. I know we're going to get into the starting 11. But yeah, disappointed because I fancied us in the end to go there and do something.
Yeah, it's amazing how the mood can change without a ball being kicked. But this was the team that we were going to see at the MKM Stadium. It was Selvik, a banquet, Alleyne, in what would have been his last appearance in a Watford shirt. Matty Pollock, Bowler, Ince, Kipriani, Loser, Marma, with Sissoko coming in, and then Kurumgor leading the line. Sissoko coming back in, so we'll wait and see if that's going to be the case next time out. I guess we'll probably move on from this, lads. I don't really know what more's to be said about this one. I'm just amazed by some of the images I was seeing. I was seeing a blowtorch. I was seeing the heaters you get at the on the ground staff, on the technical
They should
dugout.
have just popped down to B&M's and got a couple of kettles.
Or a bit of boiling water would have probably done the trick. I don't know, but
did you see Norwich? Because Norwich, someone said earlier, but Norwich was the one where you did have that ice around the pitch, and it, like you said, how they've missed that or left it that late to sort that out is pretty poor. Looking at the pictures that the club put out, the actual pitch, the pitch of the playing surface looks pretty good.
Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? Or even a bit of rock salt. Could have chucked that on. I don't know. There's plenty of other methods. On that, let us know what you think of that in the comment section below. As always, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts. And if you're listening on audio, we've had so many more listeners on audio recently, which we really do appreciate. Spotify, Apple, all your podcasting platforms. If you could drop us a review on there, that really does go a long way. Sam, on that, we mentioned him in the starting lineup, Max Alleyne. Now, what followed in the days after were out of nowhere, really. Well, I say out of nowhere. Obviously, City played Chelsea on the Sunday. Gvardiol injured, Ruben Diaz injured, both long-term injuries. City light in the centre-back department. They've been linked with Mark Gurhey, but in the short term, they've had to recall Max Alleyne, which the odds of that is just incredible, really. That's why City recalled him ultimately. But I guess the question to you be, how does this affect Watford for the rest of the season? How do we manage this situation? Because Pollock and Alleyne was the two and the best centre-back pairing that we had.
Gutted. Yeah, like you said, it's just a bit mental how the space of 2 days, it feels like the momentum that we had in a way has just been, kicked right out of us by losing arguably our best defender, or certainly I think our most talented defender, and the game being called off. Yeah, I think City currently had about 2 to 3, maybe 4 defenders out on loan, or options that could replace the injured Gvardiol and Ruben Diaz. I can't remember who they were, but they had someone who's out at one of their sister clubs who could get relegated, and they wanted them to stay at the sister clubs to help keep them out of the relegation zone. One of them who they didn't think was ready yet, and they thought that Max Alleyne was probably the best position to come in and immediately have an impact on the Man City team, which I always feel like when this happens, it's a double-edged sword. That I think it's a compliment, firstly, not only to Max, who has been, other than a couple of rocky games and then he came out the team, has been exceptional since he's come into the side. His attitude, he's learning every game, he's growing physically. Huge credit to Max for that. But also to us for getting the best out of him, and to Javi for finding that position, to Matty for forming such a good partnership with him. But then the other side, yeah, it's really taken the stuffing out of us. It took us so long this season, only until really the last month or the Christmas period, to settle on that best back four that we finally landed on. And just as we were getting some form together, it's been taken away. Look, I don't think it's a case of our fault or City's fault. City are fully within their rights to do this. And yeah, it's just incredibly unfortunate timing for us, I think.
And Pep Guardiola came out today and was asked about Max Alleyne, and he said Max Alleyne has come back from his loan at Watford, and we appreciate that from Watford and what they have done for the young lad. Who would have had that on the bingo list? Let's just read that again. We appreciate that from Watford and what they have done for the young lad, Pep Guardiola, on the 6th of January, 2020.
Do one, Pep. Always patronising us.
Charlie,
Pep doing that with his little wry smile as well.
We can talk all day about
idiot.
how good Max Alleyne is, right? And I think it's probably torture because we all know the ability he has and how good he was for Watford and how good of a player he's become. 19 games, I think it was overall. Obviously under Petzolano initially, but Javi's got the best out of him with Matty. The question on every Watford fan's lips, though, is how do we solve this? How do we manage this situation? Because what we're reading, it sounds like foremost Mendy is now a viable option for Watford. Bearing in mind in the summer, he was touted as our first choice target, if I'm not mistaken, or at least a top target that we wanted to sign. We've got him in. We've only seen him at Millwall away as a right back. He's a centre back. How do we get around this?
Firstly, when this news came out, I was absolutely livid. For anyone who doesn't know, my girlfriend's a big Man City fan. I refused to speak to her yesterday, just out of pure frustration. As the great man said, we cannot replace him. Literally, like I saw a few comments saying, "Oh, we need to go in and buy a centre back now." Just which defenders have that passing ability? Like, I'm sure Caben, Mendy, even a Banqua, like they're all decent players, and we've all seen kind of highs and lows from them. We haven't really seen foremost Mendy too much, but the difference between Max is just the passing ability and his composure on the ball, and the fact that he's so physical as well and was able to stand up in the Championship. I mean, the only thing I can kind of think of is I hope he plays against Exeter and does really well, because he could really fit into that team. He could be their John Stones replacement, but I just don't see there being an option like a ball playing centre back. And if you look back at Tom Ince's first goal against Birmingham, it's Alleyne's line breaking pass into Georgie really early that gives him the space to play that ball in. And yeah, how do we replace him? It's tough. I think let's see foremost Mendy play against Bristol City and see what he's got. Like I said, they have got high hopes from him, and that seems to be the messaging from the club. I like James Banquet a lot. He's got mistakes in him and he's still learning, but I think him and Pollock. Thing is, we probably about 3 months ago we were saying how good Caben is. So there's a player in there as well, but he just dropped off and struggled to get back in. So if it was an area of the pitch that we missed out, I think that's where we want to miss out. But it's just that passing ability and the ability to build up that we don't have. I would, against Millwall, was it the next game back? I would personally play a Banqua. But yeah, interested to see what foremost Mendy could do, because yeah, highly rated. And I'm holding out a bit of hope that if City do go in and get Mark Gahey, and they've still got Nathan Aki, they've still got Kushinov. Diaz is back in 6 weeks at the end of January. Max, come back. Although the City fans in my mentions don't think that's going to happen.
No. I was thinking that as well, that the replacement for Max Alleyne. A part of me is thinking that because I do think we'll sign a centre back now. I am thinking that we're going to leave it as late as possible in the window.
No chance.
You don't think there's even a deadline day if City get Gahey? It's just a little 4 week.
Him to come back?
Yeah, just till the end of the season.
Yeah, potentially, but I don't think we'll go out and buy another centre back.
I'll be honest, lad.
Someone else on loan. I think we might just wait to see what we do until the end of the window to see if it's possible that we get Alleyne back. I
reckon he put that statement out on Instagram because he knows he's not coming back. You wouldn't do that if there was a slither of a chance. I think that's my take anyway. I mean, look, I honestly can't believe this. When your luck's in, your luck's in. What I'd say are two things on it, lads. Our January transfer window will show whether we mean business if we want to go for a promotion this season, in my opinion. We've said that before. We'll say that again. We know the positions we need. Left back, I'd say probably a central midfielder, maybe a centre back now, but a striker as well. I'd probably say left back and centre mid are absolute musts in this window. And then I think to it and I go, we have that momentum. The whole games happens. Alleyne happens, leaving. And our next game back in the Champ is a 12:30 at home to Millwall, who will have players back from injury. And you think, when your luck's in, your luck's in. We can't control that, obviously. Sam, my question would be, what's the best centre-back pairing? We want to keep the system. We want to keep this 4-2-3-1 that obviously drops into a 4-1-4-1, 4-5-1, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, back to Who's it going to be? Matty Pollock and
Yeah, it's so difficult because I think I don't know anything about Foremost Mendy. So I would say at the moment James Abankwah, but at the same time, I think Ngakia was out the other day with a hip injury, and I think Javi's first choice at the moment would be to play Abankwah at right back. If Ngakia is injured, we don't know how long that's going to be. If he was just tired and it's just a precaution, I think the first port of call there would be Abankwah would be viewed as the first choice right back. Rather than Jeremy Petrie, and Kevin Caben would probably come in at centre back. So out of the options we've got now, I'd probably say it's Pollock and Abankwah based on what we know. But yeah, I think we need. It's so difficult to find a profile of player. I think I don't want to say we got lucky with Max because the scouting clearly did really well, but we were lucky in the respect that there was probably so few players out there who are this talented, who you can go and get on loan. And can come in and have an impact like this. And particularly in the middle of the season, not much time to adapt, straight in, no pre-season. Yeah, it's difficult to replace him.
I think also just to go on to your last video with Adam, he made the point about Bundesliga clubs being interested in him. And it really wouldn't surprise me if he's involved as soon as they get another centre back in, and they might even send him out abroad into the Bundesliga, because I do believe he's got the ability to play in one of the top 5 leagues. So they're probably looking at it going, well, you've done it in the Championship on a small sample size. Ultimately, can you go to the Bundesliga and do the same thing? Lads, anything else on Alleyne? I mean, the foremost stuff is interesting, though, Charlie.
Yeah, I hope to see him against Bristol City. But I think what was really telling about Max, if anyone's been on his Instagram and in the comments, all the players' reaction, a lot of angry, like frustrated emojis and stuff like that. So he was obviously a great lad as well. So yeah, wish him the best of luck. I'll try not to cry too much.
Yeah, I think Charlie might have referenced this before, but I don't think it'll be too long before we're supporting Max Alleyne when he's wearing an England shirt as well.
Is he not one of our own though, Sam?
Not one of our own, but I think
he was made at Watford.
It was us who gave him his professional debut, though, wasn't it? As well.
True, Charles.
Yeah.
That famous old game we were walking down the Thames. Remember that, lads? That feels like a lifetime ago.
Valon Barami screaming at the official. That feels like ages ago.
Petzolano sitting on the water cooler as well. Do you remember that?
It's been a long, long season.
Goodness me. I mean, ultimately, lads, for me, the biggest thing in the centre-back that pairs Pollock is someone who progresses the ball. Now, who would you say is the best out of everybody that we have out? They would argue the club Foremost Mendy is the one. That's why they're going big on him. I think Abankwah's got the ability to do that, to be fair. But it seems like Javi sees him as more of a right back. Left back's been linked. We'll get onto the transfer window in just a second. One player who's back at Chelsea as well and back to their home club, Charlie, and their parent club is Caleb Wiley. That one hasn't really worked out. Well, it hasn't worked out. He obviously came to us on loan second half of last season with the view of us sort of keeping him, and that was sort of the deal. It felt like if you take him on loan now, help with his rehabilitation, with his injury, get him up to fitness, you can have him for next season. Ultimately, that hasn't happened, and he's back at Chelsea. Firstly, thoughts on that? 2, we need a left back, right?
Yeah, we do need a left back. On Wiley, bit of a shame really, because we shouldn't forget how good he was when he did play for us at the back end of last season. And when we kind of reloaned him and that was confirmed early this season, we were all pretty happy, excited and thinking he was going to be our main left back with Bola kind of being that replacement. But Bola's been exceptional all season. It's all been a bit vague with Wiley in terms of details, not knowing what injury, whether it's I don't know if I've just plucked this out of nowhere, whether it's like a shoulder injury or something like that. But he has played a few minutes. He played at Sheffield United, but never got a run. And yeah, if he is injured and he's not available, there's no point in him playing. So it's probably the right decision. So yeah, we've seen the rumours in the last couple of days, a couple of names linked who we're going to talk about. But yeah, they look definitely like they're in the market for a left back.
Yeah, the names that have been linked. The first one was Harry Amass. I wanted to bring in Lou Orns' comment as well on Julio Soler, who's from Bournemouth, under-20 Argentina captain as well. Luke says, I won't be getting your hopes up with Soler currently. Hasn't advanced according to a few people who have told me in the past hour. That one looked like it was on its way to happening. Whether that then, Sam, speeds up the talks of Harry Amass, obviously first half of the season on loan at Sheffield Wednesday, came through the Watford Academy. Amorim with some interesting comments about the players out on loan at United, which I think Amas then shared some of his awards that he's won for Sheffield Wednesday this season. I mean, look, their position doesn't reflect how well he's been and how well he played actually against us. Sam, you're a big fan of this one though, right?
Yeah, I really like Harry Amas. I think it was someone I think we did a video in the summer, a player we should try and sign from every Premier League club, and I said Harry Amas from Manchester United. I do think it's going to be a difficult one. It seems from the stuff that I've been reading around, there are clubs who seem to be in a better position to us. I think Stoke was one of them, who he's heavily linked with. And Mark Robbins has a really good track record of developing those young players, as does Javi, obviously. But yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult one. There'll be so many Championship clubs swirling around, but hopefully we can use that. He came through with us, he knows the club, and we are in a really good position in the table.
Sam, with how well Bowler's played,
that's the other thing I was thinking, that is that he wouldn't start as well, which I'm not sure how beneficial it would be for his development. Not that he wouldn't play, because there definitely would be minutes there for him, but Mark Bowler would be that first choice left back still, and he's been exceptional. And I think Caleb Wiley's obviously injured, but even if he was fit, he wouldn't be playing either. So I think this was inevitable with him going back to Chelsea, which is a shame, because I think in the flashes that we saw last season, he seemed to be a really good option for us, really balanced, I think, both attacking and defending wise. A couple of big assists. I can't remember which games they were in across the season and last season, and some big involvements as well. But yeah, probably the right decision.
So is it about getting a backup in, Charlie, to Bowler rather than someone to compete with him? Because we've got Morris, right? That's the only other natural left back in the squad.
Well, yeah. After Luke's bomber, I'm regretting doing a bit of research on Julio Soler now.
That's an area.
I'm not gonna waste the time. If anyone is interested, he's a 20-year-old left back. He has played for Bournemouth in the Premier League, like in 3 games. He has got minutes. Played for them in the EFL Cup. He's been linked to like Ajax, who are a Champions League team. He actually played against Marma and captain Argentina in the Under-20s World Cup. He's played with Julian Alvarez for Argentina and in the Olympics. Really kind of highly rated left back. I know Liverpool were interested in him before Bournemouth got him for like 6 million. He's a classic South American terrier, like the way he plays. Reminds me actually, like when I was thinking of players, he reminds me of a bit like Mark Cucurella. Just that style, like the aggressiveness, and can go either way. But when I was looking at him and knowing about Bowler, I was like, is it just the wrong profile? Because like you said, unless Bowler gets injured, he's not going to play any minutes. And Bournemouth, if they did want to loan him, or they were going to loan him, and he's not getting minutes, it'd be absolutely pointless. I mean, you could say, look, you just want the most talented people in as possible, and then let them fight out. And look, if Bowler gets injured, we've got a ready-made replacement. But profile-wise, I was thinking I would like to see maybe someone a bit more experienced coming at left back who can, again, we've spoken about that Championship experience, know how to get out of the division, can help develop players, give Mark Bowler rest, not a young kid who might be frustrated without getting minutes. So, again, like you probably say you just want the best to come in, but I think with Mark Bowler, how robust he's been as well, I don't think he's picked up many injuries at all this season. He's looking as good as he has done. So, barring an injury, I'm thinking maybe an older, more experienced Championship left back could be good to come in to help see games out and kind of be good around the squad in hopefully a playoff and promotion push.
I've already had some transfer mark, by the way, for some left backs.
Yeah, I also don't know how much it will impact things. I'm interested to see which left backs could be available. But previous loans with Bournemouth, including the last one, don't know if that would impact things.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they'd let him loan after Jebo.
I'll give you a couple of free agents. I'll throw them out there if you want them. Do you want them, lads?
Yeah.
I love. This is my. Can I just say it? My football niche, maybe. I don't know if anyone listens to our football cliches. They have this thing once a month called Meza Harlan Dicks, where people give their 3 like niche fascinations with football and their like 3 niche like dislikes in football. I love free agents. I love just talking about free agents. I love just seeing like the most random names that you've forgotten from like 2015 on there somehow still playing. Oh, Jacob, please hit me. Come on.
Okay, so I'm going to go from highest value downwards, okay? So Sergio Reguilon. Deafening silence.
What are we doing? Stay silent until you hear a better left back than Mark Bowler.
I'll read some names and you tell me if you would take them, right? Sergio Reguilon, Juan Bernat, the ex-PSG left back. We've got Jordan Amavi. Remember him at Aston Villa? Kazawa.
I feel like we've been linked to Kazawa before.
Yeah, we have been, yeah.
I'll tell you one I could see. Borna Barisic.
Was it at Rangers? Was it at Rangers?
See that.
We were linked with him. Were we linked with him before?
We were linked with him when I think Gerrard was there. Apart from that, lads, not many other names that I could probably tell you that I know. Rodrigo Insua.
No idea.
Get in the comments. Tell us which left back we should go for.
I've got a question for you though, lads. On the note that Max Lane's been recalled from loan, and on the note that Caleb Wiley's been recalled from his loan, the question for the comment section and today's pod is genuinely, what was the last good loan we had before Max Alleyne? Like, top.
Does Jerry count as a loan, Delafeu? Because we signed like loan then perm.
I'll throw you a few names out there. Chakvedazzi, technically initially. Abankwa. I'll throw one out there. Festi Ebisele. That was a nice loan. It should have been longer. Everyone always talks about Nathan Ake.
The initial Vidra on loan initially, wasn't he? So was Igalo. Loan FC, Ian Holloway's favourite team.
There we go.
I'm preferring, let's go back to like your Tom Cleverley's.
Henry
Lansbury. They go hand in hand.
Let's have a rogue one. Who Ben Foster on loan initially was a last loan.
Clevs was the first player I fell in love with at Watford, and what a boy!
Cleverly,
and good to see Plymouth. They've slightly picked up as well. Plymouth.
I've got someone in mind, but I don't really want to say his name. It hasn't aged well, but he was good for a short spell with us back in the day.
Go on.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah, I think I know who you're referring to, Charles. I mean, I think I could see us. I know someone jokes here about Hassan Kamara's return. It would not shock me if Zamora came in. If we looked at Zamora.
On the Udinese squad, do you think we will see a bit of movement from there?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the most likely this window. If players come in, it will be Udinese.
And on that note, what positions do we need, lads?
Left back, centre mid, I think, for me.
Striker, Charlie?
No, to be honest, I'm pretty. I know you lot are reeling off all these positions we need, but to be fair, we've got a pretty decent squad. I would like an experienced centre midfielder, but I'm not too thirsty for a transfer this January. I've got to admit, I'm pretty happy with the squad and what we've got. Look, I think, like you said, Jacob, it would be a real sign of intent if we do some serious business, and the fact that we've already seen Amas and Soler linked, I think, is pretty encouraging. But
Joe Rothwell?
Yeah, he'd be fine. Wouldn't be excited. I've seen Callum Wilson mentioned in the comments. I think Callum Wilson at West Ham, when he was there, was on a ridiculous pay-as-you-play deal. So if he stepped on the pitch, they had to pay him I don't even know what figure it is. So I doubt that's something that we'd entertain. Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's going to be interesting. Names going to come out at random. So, yeah, we'll be across it and react accordingly.
I think the positions we need, Sam, we need a left back. Some would say Ngakia can cover in that position, but we want Ngakia as a right back traditionally. We've got a banker in position to play right back as well. I think we need a left back. I do think we need a bit of cover for Kyprianou, or at least a similar player, because if Kyprianou gets injured, we don't have another player who can do his job. So I think we need one more in there. And I would not be against a striker coming in. Now, who that is, I'm not too sure. But I think a left back and a central midfielder is a must this window for me. I also think, lads, there will be injuries at some point, and there will be, I think back to some of the biggest seasons we've had, the impact some of those signings had in January, really important. Even Adam mentioned it on the last video. So, Sam, any other takes on that one? Or players, Sam, a better question. Is it more important that we don't let anybody go?
Yeah, I think keeping hold of players is the most important thing this window. I wouldn't say it's like the summer where if we keep hold of Imran Loser and Mane Marmar and Chat for Tat say they're going to be like new signings. I felt like that in the summer, but I think definitely the most important thing this window as a priority will be keeping hold of players who they'll definitely be interested in. I think I saw Imran Loser to West Ham and Everton floated about on socials in the last couple of days, which I'm not sure how true they are, but yeah, if we lose Imran Loser, then that will be a killer. But based on what Adam said, I think we should be okay in that respect. Yeah, I'm not expecting too much movement until later in the window. I think we might get to the last week and see where we're sat at that point, and go from there.
Charlie, is there a comment that's been picked out that you like the look of, or no?
There's two comments to be picked out. This one, Jacob, bit of Calvin Phillips for 6 months, resurrect his career.
If they were paying the wages.
Hey, England Player of the Year 2021. And the other comment
5 years ago.
Huh?
5 years ago.
5 years ago. Nah,
Or four and a half.
Felt like yesterday. Another from Stuart Scott. So thanks for the messages, mate. I asked Luca Bendoni about Lovric and Miller. He said no. Also said the Luca rumour was nonsense, as expected. So, yeah, a bit of a shame about Lovric. We were a bit excited about him in the summer. He hasn't got any minutes for Udinese. And Miller is the young Scottish centre midfielder that they brought in as well. So, who knows? There's going to be names floating about in the next couple of weeks that could keep January a bit spicy for us and keep us in high spirits after the frosty weekend we had with Hull and Max Alleyne.
Absolutely. Jordan Zamora is also one just to probably keep an eye on potentially in that left back spot, but we shall see. One man who will be returning to Watford very soon. We've had a couple of players leave. One man who's on his way back to London Colney is Edu Kiembe. Now, latest developments in AFCON means I think Algeria scored a late winner, lads, if I'm not mistaken, against DR Congo.
Sorry, I haven't been across AFCON.
Algeria beat DR Congo 1-0, and Balbina in the 119th minute. But from a Watford persuasion, Edu Kiembe was involved in the squad. Was he somewhere?
I think Kiembe came on today. I think Adam Drury
he came on and picked up that standard yellow card that Edu Kiembe absolutely loves. He's coming back. But interestingly, lads, someone made a good point about this. People talk about Javi changing the system and changing the team and stuff. How much do we actually put it down to Kiembe going to AFCON and Doumbia going to AFCON? Because it kind of forced his hand then to start ins and to change the system and to change the shape. Sam, do you read much into that?
I think we started to see the shift against Wrexham, though. Started to see it slowly happen. It wasn't as defined as it was now, but obviously we had Doumbia playing that day in the 10, and he scored as well. A deflected goal in that first half. So I'm not sure if it's fully down to it, but obviously Tom Ince, I think his hat-trick last week is partially down to Kiembe not being there, because I think if Edo was there, he probably would have been playing in that Ince role, in that tucked in role in midfield.
What do we make of Sissoko starting against Hull?
Moves. Yeah. I saw a funny tweet from Lou Owens saying the Frost Gods had a look down and went, nah.
It's an interesting one with Sissoko, because I have to say I didn't really expect it. I agreed with you, lads, when you talked about the team not changing. I think Javi was known for, once he has a team that he likes, it's just playing them week after week after week. He probably can't do that in the Championship, and that's probably why he did make a change. And he thought, we go away to Hull. In his eyes, we keep it solid in the middle. He did the same at Sheffield United. If you remember, in his first game, he played Sissoko. So I wonder if that was in the thinking. I was surprised though, Charlie.
Do you think you'd have played as a second striker in the 10, or do you think he would have played right midfield?
I'm not sure.
I think off the right. I think it would have been
off the right potentially.
We'll never know.
But on that note, who starts in the FA Cup? The Cup's back, Sam. Are you up for the Cup?
Not really, actually. I'm not feeling it this year.
No.
Because it's such a dross, the draw. Like, I think you should be banned from playing teams in your own league. That's
a nice shout.
Good rule.
Yeah, unless they're your rivals, you shouldn't be allowed to play them. That's
Give
what
me
I
a
would do.
toy, Sam, that you would have got excited about.
anyone away.
Stockport, Macclesfield, Salford.
Exactly.
Winner,
Luton,
Yates,
but they're out, aren't they? Yeah, I think anyone other than Bristol. I actually, my prediction before was Bristol City at home, so I was a little bit. I could see it was just so obvious, but it's getting such dross. Like, who cares? Everyone's been to Ashton Gate about 25 times in the last few years. It's a boring stadium. Like, it's all right. The atmosphere's a bit dead. Like, it's a bit of a rugby ground. Just like, can't be bothered. Like, who cares?
It is. It does feel like we play them every single year, whether it's Carabao Cup or FA Cup, EFL Cup, Virtue Trophy, whatever it is, Papa John's, something. We play them in whatever competition. Then we talk about the Championship as well. Rio's gone with this lineup, lads. What do you reckon? Baxter, Morris, Foremost Mendy, Pollock, Patrice, Small Mendy, Sissoko, Nabizada for Sam, Irankunda, Bart, Semedo.
I think that's very close to what we'll see. I think it will be Kevin Caben instead of Matty, and I think, I don't think Bar will play. I'm not sure who'll play instead, but I don't think he'll risk KB in a game like this.
Do you not think we need to be like we talked about momentum? Like to go from not playing for then what would it be? Nearly 2 weeks to going against Millwall. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the strongest team, you know.
I actually agree.
Does that not give us an advantage having a bit of a rest?
I think so, but I mean, again, I think based on I think what happened at Hull has probably changed it now because we would have had that rest already. I do think if we played the whole game, we would have seen close to what Rio has put down. But I think we'll see a bit of a mixture. I think we'll see Baxter in goal, and then I think it will be relatively similar to what we've seen in the last few weeks. I think Ince will probably be given a rest. Maybe a couple of the older heads will be given a rest. So yeah, I think it will, though, purely on a momentum basis. Also, that like 12:30 at home to Millwall just screams like, I don't know. I feel like we need to be fully up for it, sharp. So I think we'll go for it against Bristol City.
Are you going to Bristol City, Sam?
Nah, I need a break after Hull the other day, to be honest. And it's on telly, so
still protesting those waffle fries. Yeah, I mean, it's lads. I'll be absolutely flabbergasted if Javi goes anywhere near full strength. Anywhere near full strength, he will be told by the board, your priority this season, get us playoffs, and the cup is a lovely bonus. But in my eyes, lads, the only way you really get momentum in the cup is if you go full strength and you play pretty much 7 or 8 of your first team players. Is that let's be honest, lads, we haven't sat there as professional footballers, but I'd be thinking, do I really want to go 100% today with all the Championship games coming up, the position we find ourselves in the league, the fact we have a great chance of getting playoffs this season? Your head's not going to be in it. I almost think you play players who aren't playing a lot, like an Irankunda, who's coming on at 60 minutes. They have points to prove. There's actually a real opportunity to stake your claim in the squads. I think it's a win-win for everyone, really, and we get another week off, and hopefully we hit the ground running going into Millwall. On that note, predictions for Bristol City, lads. 3rd round of the FA Cup. A huge shout out to everybody's going, because that is a trek to Ashton Gate. Sam,
3-1 defeat.
Charlie's gone 3-1. You've gone.
For the purposes of the prediction league, this is after 90 minutes. By the way, I'm going to go 1-1 after 90 minutes.
Is this part of the predictions league? Is it?
We're counting it. After your score after 90 minutes.
Your score after 90 minutes. I'm assuming this one goes straight to pens, doesn't it?
Straight to pens, yeah. Straight
to pens. That's good to see. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Bristol City and Petris scoring a worldie.
I'm still getting over our penalty shootout defeat against, who was it?
Stevenage. And Porteous hit it out the ground. Do you know what? On penalty defeat. On penalty defeats, one of my favourite games I've ever been to. We lost on penalties. We drew with Tottenham at Stadium MK 2-2. I think we went 1-0 up. Isaac Success had one of the worst first halves you'll ever watch. Then, like 46 minutes, Success smashes it in 1-0 Watford. Carnage.
Did John Queen score a worldie?
That was Reading. Reading away, Carabao in the green kit.
Yeah,
on the left peg.
Yeah, the game before. And then I think Dele Alli and Lucas Moura might have scored for Tottenham. And obviously it was big for Dele, like his homecoming to MK. And I think Lucas scored in like the 91st minute. They all thought they'd won it. Capu up the other end, 94th minute, 2-2. I mean, when that stadium is full, carnage. But I think that's probably the only time it's ever been full stadium, MK. And we lost on pens.
We lost on pens. And talking about pens, lads, to wrap up, who is our best taker? If you had a spot kick tomorrow, everyone's fit, who are you giving to? Charlie Zazera.
Edo Kayembe. Jacob, don't get away with your prediction as well.
Oh, I'm going 2-1 Bristol City. Petrus Weldy.
Oh, sorry, you said it.
No worries. I can repeat it again. Jeremy, I'm watching. Sam.
Yeah, probably Edo. But we're going to have to get that sorted in case the playoff final goes to Wembley.
Still fuming and losing, missing that penalty against Sheffield Wednesday.
It was he striked it so well, but rattled the crossbar. For me, Kiembe's our best ball striker. I'd probably go Kiembe loser, and then I would go Matty.
I reckon Matty's got a cracker on him.
Harry Maguire style.
Sam got a bit emotional then. I've never seen him look at me like that when he talks about a penalty. Incredible. Last thing to say, lads, 5:45 kickoff on Saturday.
Discovery Plus, is it?
Discovery
Plus. Should be 3 o'clock on a Saturday on the BBC. Televised.
The club should put on at least a free pint for all the fans going to that one after Hull.
Agreed. Even though it wasn't the club's fault, but a nice
come on, Gino, sort it out.
A nice pint of Thatcher's wouldn't go down an absolute treat. Ian says, just to wrap up, any news on the hoodies, Charlie?
A chaser email was sent today.
Ooh, good to see. Sam, he loves a chaser email, the boy. Sam. Sam, any updates your end? What's the latest on the Hearts Minds? How many are we on?
Well, precisely 0 was added to the fund after the whole game. But we've still got plenty of games to go in January, and it was a big total in December. And it just means that when Watford hammer them in the replay, more goals will be added then. So, yeah, if you want to join in for £1, that for every goal that Watford score this season, link in the description. And, any donation would be appreciated.
That's some breaking news.
Ooh.
Carragher Henry moment again. 2 secs.
Just as we're about to wrap up, that's incredible. My voice is broken at that sort of look, Charlie. It's wobbling. I'm at the edge of my seat here.
Lil Ones has just tweeted, and a particular paper has reported that I will not name. We're in the race to sign Castledane from Chelsea, who's available for £1 million, apparently.
He has been absolutely superb for Huddersfield, hasn't he? He's been brilliant.
He's a centre midfielder, 20 years old.
He scored 7 in his last 8 or something.
Pardon?
He scored 7 in his last 8. Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, 23 goals, 23 games for Huddersfield this season, 10 goals, 2 assists. Interesting.
That would be a cracking signing, lads. Really good signing. For $1 million. Well, whisper it quietly, lads. And on that note, we'll have more on the Mental Health World Cup coming soon. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled on that. Thanks so much for all the engagement and all the comments, interactions, because it's kept us going over a bit of a rough couple of days, particularly for Sam on WD18 fans, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff, lads. Absolute pleasure to join you on this Tuesday night. And now we're going to watch the Nuno's final act, probably, for West Ham.
They're 1-0 up.
Oh, maybe not. So
maybe not.
see how it gets on there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves. Up the Hornets, and we'll speak to you very, very soon. You odds!